Okay guys, welcome back to another video. This is just going to be a quick video, I haven't planned it overly. But basically what I'm going to do is just go over a journaling exercise that I've done for setting goals for the new year. And I'll talk a bit about the reason why I'm doing this, because when I look back on it, I'm actually quite happy with 2023. I think I did quite a lot with my time. I've done lots of new stuff that has really progressed my life forward. But I do end the year on a slight feeling of I could have done even more, And there's a slight sort of tinge of disappointment that I didn't, it was just I just had this kind of gut feeling that I could have done more with my year. And I think this is something that a lot of people feel. I think people start the year thinking new year, new me, it's gonna be my year, all this kind of stuff. We're all quite familiar with this kind of rhetoric that people will say. But then they go through the year and, it doesn't quite happen. That sort of early optimism doesn't sustain, And we often blame our laziness, we sort of blame ourselves for not being competent enough to fully realise our goals. And it's rather sad, I don't want to bring the mood down, guys, don't worry. But what I've realised is often this feeling of looking back on 2023 and that kind of feeling of I could have done more. Often it's because, you didn't even set any goals in the first place, And I do think of this, how can I be sort of annoyed at myself for not having done more with the year when I didn't even set out what my intentions were with the year in the first place? I just didn't do any journaling about what I wanted to accomplish with the year. And so no wonder. On a subconscious sort of, without realising, you set goals for yourself. Obviously I was at university at the time. So in my head I was I'm going to finish university this year. I'm going to get a job. So there's stuff that I plan subconsciously which I accomplish. And the thing is, the brain is a goal-seeking mechanism. The human being, if you set goals, you will, and they're important to you, and you generally give a shit about them, 9 times out of 10, you'll actually complete them. And so I think the key to solving all this kind of if you're like me, you come to the end of the year and you just feel there's more stuff that you could have done. The key to that is just giving yourself stuff to do in the first place. And yeah, I just realised in 2023, again, I had a great year. I've had really it's been really exciting. I've learned a lot about myself. I've really progressed as a person. The future's looking very bright. But I didn't sit down with a pad of paper and just write down what I wanted the year to look like, And if I had done that, I'd just imagine what kind of intention I would have had throughout the year, And like I say, I had quite a good year anyway. But just imagine how much better it would have been if I'd sat down for 15 minutes just to think about what do I want out of this year? Even if it's not actually reasonable to accomplish it, you don't even have to spend, this list that I'm going to read you. I haven't spent any time really reflecting on how I'm going to make this stuff happen. Now, obviously I will, later on down the line, but the most important thing is just have an image, about what you'd like the year to look like, and you can't, there's no point getting into sort of dealing with the hows and whens and whether it's feasible if you don't just first let yourself think about what would be when you hit 2025 next year. What kind of things would be great if you had done it that year? So yeah, this is the way to secure feeling of a sort of lack of direction in your life and lack of sort of accomplishing what you want out of the year, is just to have an idea of what you actually want it to look like in the first place. All these people who you can be as optimistic as you like about the year, but if you don't have a set plan, if you don't know what you're being optimistic about, it's useless. It's going to go nowhere. You could be really hardworking. You could have great discipline. You could be, really competent person. But if you don't have a plan for what you want to use that discipline and competence, then it doesn't matter. And some guy who has no discipline at all, who spends 5 minutes writing down what he wants the year to look like, he's got an edge over you all of a sudden, because he's actually got something to aim for. And this is the important thing with your year. So anyway, I'm going to read through my goals and kind of what I want out of this year. And I spent about 10 minutes doing this on the bus on the way to work. So again, very, very high ROI, if I can say that, very high return on investment activity. And it's really fun to do as well. So I'm going to read off what I want to accomplish in 2024. A lot of them are very unrealistic and, might not happen. But you've got to let let yourself dream a bit. Do all the kind of exciting, dream first, and then you can go over this and think, oh, actually this, then you can make plans off the dream. But you have to have the sort of North Star to point you in the right direction to begin with. Some of these things, they might not be feasible when I look into it more. Some of them are quite vague, Generally, I'm not one for setting vague goals. I think you need a definite plan. But that doesn't matter, because I can look into it later and then think, okay, what does this actually look like? And then I can plan with it. But before you do any of that, before you do any of the practicalities, you need to dream a bit with it. So anyway, I'm going to go through them, and it'll make a bit more sense when I sort of tell you guys. So the first thing I'm going to do is release some content for a series that I'm writing. So basically, long story, I wrote this sort of scripts for a TV series, and I've always wanted to get it out into the world, basically. And so I'm just going to record some of it myself, basically. I'm going to do it on, basically it's going to be animation. So I'm just going to learn how to animate at a very basic level. I'm going to sort of put together some of the stuff and release some of it on YouTube. And I don't have to record the whole thing, that's quite ambitious. But, I can put out a few scenes here and there that I think are good, and just my spare time. And then once I do that, we'll see how it goes. So that's the first thing I've written down. Then I've got a bunch of things about places I want to go to. So I'm very interested in Eastern Europe, and I really want to go to Moldova. I want to film some content there, practice a bit of Russian, Now again, this is a bit ambitious, Moldova is quite, you've got to keep your wits about you in Moldova, it's quite a bit dangerous, But in my head, I have this idea that I want to go, so I've written that down as well. Similar with Greece, go to Greece, film some content there. Then the next one, I've got learn a bit of Welsh and Irish, and maybe film some Welsh or Irish language content. So what I'm imagining myself doing is getting a train to a Welsh-speaking area of Wales, or maybe even flying over to an Irish-speaking area of Ireland, and speak a bit of Irish, speak a bit of Welsh, maybe make some content for the YouTube channel about it. Or maybe even Scotland. Scotland has its own indigenous language as well. But it's, so that's another idea. Again, when am I going to do this? How am I going to find the money to do it? This all comes later down the line. But firstly, you just need to set that image in your head. The next thing I've got is be rid of dull pains in my legs, bow posture in my back, and tenseness in my chest. So this is something that this is a problem that I've had for a very long time, and I've just not addressed it because I've never sat down like this and thought, what problems do I have that I could get rid of? And yeah, so this is what I'm going to do. So basically, the way we sort of sit down all the time. When we're in school, we sort of carried these heavy bags around. A lot of us have ended up with very bad posture and very sort of overly tense parts of your muscles, and it's something that is just really affects your it's just really, it's a constant annoyance, basically, if you've got shitty posture, you know. I just see people who have fantastic posture, and I can tell, like, they're flexible, they just sit up straight, and it's just effortless, and it feels comfortable, it feels natural. You know, like I remember I saw this video of David Dada, who's the author of The Way of the Superior Man, and he's like a big sort of, very sort of mindfulness kind of guy, like very sort of spiritual guy. And his there was something about his posture that was just beautiful and effortless. He was just sort of so sort of light on his feet, and you know, he was just sort of so I don't know. I just saw this video of him standing up and talking in this conference, and I thought, I'd love to have that, you know, have your posture, you know. And so this is something that I'm gonna train. Exactly how am I gonna do it? It's difficult, you know. I've got some basic ideas of some stretches I can do. You know, will that be enough? Will I need to dedicate more time for it? You know, will I need to get some massages, stuff like that, to improve my posture? Yeah, probably will. Where am I going to get the money for that? You know, there are all these questions that are sort of springing up as a result of putting this down on the list. And I don't know, you know, I don't know exactly what the plan is, but I know that that's an aim, that's an idea that I'll put out there. Okay, so the next one is be able to do Yoga Nidra effectively to reset if I feel tired. So, as you may know, Yoga Nidra is kind of this spiritual sort of meditation practice that is really good to sort of have instead of a nap. So basically what you do is just sort of lie down for 20 minutes or so, and you just get really in touch with the feeling of your body, like your hands, your chest, your your legs. You know, you just really feel all the muscles in your body, and it's great to sort of it sort of resets your dopamine, has all these really great benefits. And for a while I did it quite a lot, but I really struggled to get the benefits out of it that I wanted. And I want to be able to get these benefits. So, you know, if I'm tired, you know, at some point in the day, I can just, instead of taking a nap, which is a bit of a risky one, you know, I can just do some Yoga Nidra, reset within 20 minutes, and then get back to it for the rest of the day. That would be really valuable to me. Slightly related, the next thing is be able to meditate better. So I've practiced meditation quite a lot in the past. You know, like Medito, what's the other one called? Headspace. You know, I've tried a lot of these apps. I've done a lot of just self meditation, like on my own. I've started reading a few books about meditation. I think there's a lot in it that I think is really valuable to me, but I don't really feel like I'm making progress in it. You know, occasionally I'll sort of sit down and meditate, and it'll be a really fun experience. But, you know, even though I've persevered a lot with it, I don't seem to have broken through with it yet. And I don't know what exactly I'm going to do to improve my ability to meditate, but I can just see how valuable it is to be able to detach from your thoughts in the way that meditation teaches you. And so that's on the list as well. Again, you know, I honestly have no idea how I'm going to do that, how I'm going to meditate better. That's, you know, it's a really vague goal. And, you know, again, normally when I'm setting goals, you know, that's a shit goal. What do I mean by meditating better? How am I going to define that? You know, it's not measurable at all. It's a pretty crap goal. But for this kind of exercise where you're thinking long term, that's all you need. You know, because there's an image there. There's a kind of idea in my mind of what I'm after, and I haven't articulated very well. It's very difficult to measure. It's very difficult to get to. But it's an image out there in the world. So the next thing is to hit 100 subscribers on this channel. Now again, I don't really have a plan for this. I don't really know why I want it as a goal in particular. You know, I don't really know where the YouTube channel is going exactly. But again, it's just an image in my mind of what I want to achieve. I've got some guests that I want to get on the podcast. A friend of mine, I've got that on there. That's a very easy goal. All I need to do is just text him and organise time to meet up with him. So again, that's quite a vague one. That's not vague. That's a really easy one to do, but I just haven't got around to doing it yet. So this is the funny thing. You just get all sorts of goals that come out. But if I do that in 2024, if I just hit my friend up and get him on the podcast, that will still be like, oh, that's another thing that I've done. Get one famous person on the podcast. And when I say famous, I don't exactly mean like, world famous, but like get one very credible person in their field on the podcast. Part of why I enjoy podcasting is because it sort of it gives you an excuse to reach out to people who are quite eminent. And it's actually that's another thing that I want to do basically. Get someone who's like quite well respected in the field that I'm interested in, and ask them questions that I've never seen someone ask them before, basically. Consistent early rising. So this is quite a different one to a lot of them. Before, all the ones before have been kind of, goals in the truest sense. They've been things that I want to achieve. There'll be a point in the future where it's done. That thing's done. I've got someone that I want to get on the podcast. I've filmed some content in Wales and Ireland. I've sorted out my posture. This is more of a constant thing, which you never truly complete. It's more of like a lifestyle, more of like a habit thing. The reason I put it down is because I've really fallen in love with getting up early. It makes me feel so much more sort of healthy. I sleep way better. There's something so exciting about the early part of the day that I really want to get in touch with. And so I see early rising as like a big part of that. Again, it's a bit of a shitty goal. I haven't really set a boundary as what I consider early. And I certainly don't have a game plan to how I'm going to achieve it. When I say early, am I talking 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning? Am I just talking before 8 o'clock in the morning? You can interpret it as any number of ways. But again, there's just an image of my mind about what I mean there. Consistent early rising. And again, I don't really have a good plan for how I'm going to do that, My work schedule at the moment makes it very difficult to get up early, So I'm not really addressing that on a day-to-day basis. But that comes later. You've got to let this image come first. The next one, achieve a borderline elite level of sleep. And this, again, very vague. What do I mean by borderline elite level of sleep? That's I just like I thought it was a cool way to describe it. Yeah, again, I don't really know. But again, I've got this image in my head of myself just falling into a deep state of sleep every night. When you kind of have like a shitty night's sleep, and you don't really fully go to bed and you wake up and you're a bit blurry-eyed, Imagine the complete opposite of that, where you hit the pillow and you're in a nice cold bed, your muscles are really relaxed, you've done some exercise today, so they feel really tired, you've worked hard, your brain's just ready to hit the pillow, and you just effortlessly fall into a deep sleep. And then you wake up early in the morning, you jump right out of bed, you're not tired, you're not groggy, you've got full energy, This is the kind of image I have as like how I want to sleep, because I feel like sleep is probably one of the most important things to get right in your life. And again, how do I measure that? How am I going to go about doing it? There's no real criteria there as to what constitutes a borderline elite level of sleep. There's not really a clear plan of how to get there. Am I going to do that by getting better at meditating? Am I going to do that by getting a sleep mattress that gets the right temperature for my body to fall asleep? Am I going to do that by getting a coach to really dial in my sleep for me? Any number of things could be the answer. I don't really know. But again, it's just a plan. It's just an idea in my head as to what I'm going to do. The next one is to go on lots of dates, basically. And get a lot of confidence in the dating world. This is something that I've really let slip in my life, in that I'm not really, I don't treat my dating life as seriously as something that, as one should, considering how important it is, how big of an aspect it is in my life. I'm not really dealing with it enough. I'm not really going on enough dates, not really meeting enough girls. And it's all very well saying, oh, my dating life isn't, I'm not happy with like my dating life. I'm not meeting anyone that I like. That part of my life is missing. But if you're not going out and actually, getting those dates down and like making an effort to meet people, then nothing's going to change. And so that's another thing that this year I just think if I can get that ticked off, if I can just get a good dating life, I'm meeting people, I'm finding my sort of way with my dating life, I think that'd be really great. Again, how am I going to do that? I don't know. There's all sorts of ways. Is it doubling down on dating apps a bit more? Is it journaling? Is it looks maxing? Whatever. Really make sure you look good when you're going out. Is it widening your friend group? It could be any number of things that you do to improve. I wouldn't say improve your dating life, but like to get lots of, make it an active part of your life, make it something that you take seriously. And I don't know exactly what it is going to be that's going to do it for me, but I've got the image in my head. 2024, I'm going to do that. This is quite a funny one actually. Get Hamza and First Man on the podcast. So obviously I kind of said that already with when I said, where was it? Get one like eminent person on the podcast. And this one, it's quite sort of on the unrealistic side. I don't know how much time I should put into making that happen, But it's an image I have in my mind. I think I have lots of questions to ask them both. I think they're really interesting guys. And I can have a really good podcast with them. I think it could be a really great piece of work. But it's an image in my mind, and when I go into this later, I can review that and I can think, okay, what am I going to do to make that happen? Should I make that happen, or is it do I need to focus my energy on other things? What else have I got? Have a direction with my career. Have a clear direction as where I'm going. At the moment I feel like I'm kind of floating it around between a lot of different visions as to where I want to go. I want to get a bit more direction. Again, no plans as to how I'm going to do that, but it's an image I've got. Okay, the next one's quite interesting. Have high fertility. So this is a bit of an odd one. You might think, why are you so worried about fertility? But it's quite, if you know about this stuff, it's quite concerning how fertility rates are really falling. It's a big problem that no one really is talking about. And, there's all sorts of reasons why it's happening, bads, constantly drinking, eating stuff that has microplastics in it, estrogenics, all these artificial chemicals, all kinds of things are, having your phone in your pocket, it's a really bad thing for fertility. And, it's not like I need to, I haven't got any plans to start a family anytime soon. But it seems to me that there's a clear problem for our generation with fertility. It's going to be harder for us to procreate than it was for our parents. We're going to have to put more time into getting it sorted. And it seems to me that the sooner we sort it out, we get, you can sort this out in yourself, the better, So I'd like to, sort out my fertility, make sure I'm fertile. Again, a bit of a weird goal, but I'm sure, in this kind of industry, people talk about fertility quite a lot. They know it's quite a serious thing. I think it's a bit of a weird one to tell most people. Okay, the next thing is a really basic one. Just get a shower filter. So this kind of links to fertility actually. Basically, showers have loads of normal tap water has lots of crap in it, lots of chemicals, chlorine, a lot of birth control that's secreted through urine, like if a woman's on the pill, and she secretes those hormones through her urine into the water system. The water system doesn't filter it out very effectively. So basically, there's a lot of crap in your water that you're showering yourself with, that you're getting on your skin, and also when you're drinking as well. And I've already got a water filter, which is really important, but I don't have a shower filter, and that's something I really want to get. So I'm just getting all the crap out of the showers. And it's funny because I went on holiday to Wales quite recently with some friends, and we went in the water there, and we went for like a swim in the sea, and it just felt so clean. There was something about it was just very far away from pollution or whatever, I don't know, but the water just felt so soft, and I was like, of course, because there's not. It was such a remote part of the UK. It's just much cleaner water. And I just thought, I need this in my life. I need to, when I'm showering, I want to have water that's this clean to shower in. And that's what a shower filter can give me. So this is quite interesting. This shows you the kind of range of stuff you get when you do this exercise. I could do this tomorrow. I know exactly what I need to do to get a shower filter. Just go on to Amazon, do a bit of research, and buy one. It's very simple, very easy, no planning needed there. But it's just another. That's the beautiful thing of this exercise. You just get all sorts of things, from the most obscure to really easy, actionable things. Okay, last few things, guys. Hire a hotel room and sit in silent contemplation, considering my purpose. So basically, I watched a video by Hamza where he talks about this, that a lot of how he manages to sort of unplug from the distractions of modern life and like reconnects with what's like really important to him, what his purpose in life is he'll just go to a hotel or like an Airbnb or something for 3 or 4 days. Just don't take his phone, just no books, no TV, nothing. Just sit there and journal, maybe go on a walk in the morning, but just really empty your mind of stimuli. And I can just see how important this is to do. And I did this about 6 months ago. So after I finished university, I had a few days where I did quite a half-hearted version, where I didn't go to like a different hotel or anything, but I basically just stayed in my room and just journaled. And I'd like to do it properly, just really take it to the next level, set aside some money to do it, and just see what comes out of doing it. Okay, next thing is travel outside of Europe. Again, very vague. I don't really know where I want to travel to exactly outside of Europe, but I've always stayed within Europe when I've travelled, and it would be really exciting to for the sake of saying I've left Europe, just go to another country outside of Europe. And that is actually it, guys. Yeah. So there you go. That's my goals for 2024. Big bunch of stuff there. Really, a lot of variety. And I'm really excited to see where this is going to, where it's going to go. I'm going to keep this list. I'm going to add to it, as I see fit. If I come up with more stuff I want to do. And I'm going to sort of spend some time journaling more specific stuff about them. So, the kind of how and the whens, the more practical elements of it. But I think the hard work for setting up my year ahead is done, because I've got the blueprint right here. This is the image in my head. And, when it's this time next year, when I'm in some nightclub, and the music's playing really loudly and the guys on the microphone saying, half an hour more of 2024, guys, and everyone's getting really excited. I won't be sitting there thinking, have I done what I wanted to do in 2023? Oh no, because I have the answer in 2024, sorry, because I'll have the answer right here. It'll be, I can just look at it and say, just be very objective about it. Okay, well, me this time last year wanted to do all this stuff. okay, what stuff have I got done? What stuff haven't I? And I'll just know. And yeah, so it's really exciting. That's it for me, guys. I really encourage you guys to try it yourself. Again, like I say, really high return on investment activity. This literally took me like 10, 15 minutes. And it's going to be something that I'm going to refer to for the rest of the year. So it's amazing how, just how easy it is to get some direction. Because before I sat down and wrote this list, I didn't have a fucking clue what I wanted to do with the year, you know. And suddenly, like, I have that. Like, what a great gift to give to yourself. So yeah, anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Happy New Year, and let's have a great 2024.